On the phone line with us right now, a friend of the family. We go way back. Dr. Cornel West, Tavis Smiley. You all don't have enough gas in the bus to go on the poverty tour because there's too many poverty, so many folks in poverty right now.
Michael, you are right about that, and Doc and I are always honored to be on with you. Just this morning, the new poverty numbers came out, and they underscore that poverty is the new norm in America. Poverty ought to be abnormal, but it's now the new normal. 1 out of 2 of us is living in or near poverty on top of these job numbers that came out last week. Poverty is the issue. It's threatening our democracy, and Doc and I are just trying to beat the drum about it.
Dr. West, who do you blame for this? I mean, the president or the Republicans?
Well, no, actually, it's corporate greed. It's greed of Wall Street, greed of big corporations. You got to understand that both parties are tied to Wall Street and the corporations. We understand that Brother Barack Obama is better than Mitt Romney. There's no doubt about that, but the bar is low, and we have to tell the truth about the system as a whole, even as we go and acknowledge the degree to which Brother Barack Obama is better than Mitt Romney. But it's 1% of the population got 42% of the wealth. The top 400 individuals have more wealth than the bottom 150 million. That's wrong. That's morally obscene. We got to bear witness to it.
I know you all going to be on the road September 12th through the 15th. Cleveland, Alexandria, Virginia, Philadelphia, West Palm Beach, all places we've been to on the 1 Million Mentors Tour. And people do come out and support this stuff, Tavis. I mean, what are you all expecting to get done during the tour?
3 things. One, we want to beat the drum and get the word out that these poverty numbers and these job numbers is about to cement poverty as an American catastrophe. So one is you and I do, Michael, in the media, get the word out, number one. Number 2, we are unapologetically and aggressively going to push these moderators. As you know, the first of these 4 debates starts October 3rd, and we want to make sure that these moderators raise the issue. The last time around, 2008, the debates between Obama and McCain, 3 debates, the word poor or poverty didn't come up one time. And the moderators didn't even ask about it. So we want to press these moderators, number 2, to raise the issue so we see it debated. Number 3, we're starting to call for a White House conference on the eradication of poverty. We want the next president, hopefully Barack Obama, to call a conference bringing together all the poverty experts and to create a plan, a national plan, where we can cut poverty in half in 10 years and eradicate it in 25.
Dr. West, this is what Martin Luther King was doing close to his death. He focused on that.
You're absolutely right, though, brother. He, Fannie Lou, Hamer, Stokely Carmichael, Diane Nash, Bob Moses, Marion Wright Edelman, all of them were concerned about poverty. They began on the chocolate side of town, but it spilled over to the vanilla side, the red side, the yellow side, because all poor people, all precious young poor people ought to be affirmed. And the question is, do we have the courage to tell the truth about the system? It's not just a matter of winning this election. It's a matter of connecting this election to the system that must be transformed.
You know, you hear about the war on women, the war on the old and the elderly, but you know what? In my opinion, there is a war on the poverty. And when you see so many people fighting against people in poverty, how do we combat it?
You asked the $64,000 question as always. The reality is that poor people are being rendered invisible in this country. And what these poverty numbers point out this morning is that poverty is not just black or white. It's every color, every race, every ethnicity. The women and children of America are falling fastest into poverty. Children are bearing the biggest brunt. Older folks now are having to make choices between medicine or food. It's not just urban poverty. It's now suburban poverty. It's not just unemployment. It's underemployment. I mean, when you get a chance to go online to the U.S. Census Bureau, go to their website and look at what these numbers actually say, and look especially on top of the unemployment numbers last week, look at what the poverty numbers are for our own African-American community. So you're right, George. The way you get focused on it is that somebody has got to get out there. So we're going back out with the Poverty Tour 2.0, again, to ring the bell, beat the drum, pick your metaphor, and force the country to pay attention and see these poor people.
Dr. West, when I hear stories about families living in hotels, I mean, how bad is it? What are you seeing out there?
Oh, Lord, it's getting worse and worse. We're talking about folk who are making $150,000 a year now living in cars. They lost their home. They lost their health insurance. They, of course, they lost their job as well, and therefore they are out there, and they recognize it's no fault of their own. It's not a matter of bad judgment. It's a matter of greed at the top, a system that's breaking down and throwing so many precious folk into unemployment, long-term and short-term. When our dear sister, Michelle Obama, we love her, when she says, military moms, I got your back, that's fine. That's beautiful. She gave a powerful speech. I resonated with it. We also say, in the words of Michelle Obama, we want the back of poor people to be supported. We got the back of the poor unemployed. We got the back of the poor unhoused. We got the back of the poor underemployed. We got to get behind the back of our precious poor folk just like we get behind military moms, brother.
You know what? It's funny because when I saw a story yesterday, George, I don't know if you saw 60 Minutes, they showed the man who was working poor. So these are not people out of work, Dr. West and Tavis. What do you say about that, Tavis?
In our book, book, The Rich and the Rest of Us, we talk about some of the language. It's a beautiful question, Michael. We talk about some of the language that is so bankrupt when you talk about poverty. What is the working poor? If you work, you ought not to be poor. But we live in a country now where we just accept the fact that working people, full-time working people, are still poor. A story just broke earlier this week that the pantries are empty. The food lines are getting long because the government is foreclosing on social service programs like food stamps, etc. So that, you know, when you say working poor, horrible term. When you say minimum wage, why not a living wage? When you talk about a jobless recovery, somebody help me with that. What is a recovery if it's jobless? I mean, the language around poverty is so bankrupt. So again, we're trying to take on the language. We're trying to take on the system. We want to push the media to make this an important story, the debate moderators to raise it in the debate, and most importantly, the candidates. If Barack Obama gets reelected and he decides to be like Lyndon Johnson, who he's been compared to many times, step up like Lyndon Johnson and use the bully pulpit to say, I'm going to declare a new war on poverty. We're going to make poverty a priority. For all the black folk who've been saying that the president just needs a second term, black folk, I want to keep it real for 1 second. Black folk have continued to move the post, move the line, as it were, in the Obama years. First, they say, Tavis, Dr. West, shut up, let him get elected. Well, we did that. Then they say he's in, give him some time. Well, we've done that. Then they said, you wait till he gets a second term. Okay, I'm fighting for that. Doc is fighting for that. We hope he gets a second term. But when he gets that second term, he's got to step his game up and declare a war on poverty.
I could not agree with you more. I need you all to stay in touch with us and give us the list of the cities that you're going to so we can make sure to tell people where you're at on that particular day in that city. You're going to be touring through all the cities we're on. So we want to make sure people know where you all are that day.
We'll get it to you right away.
No, that's
Thank you, guys.
Salute you, my brother.
Appreciate it.